Hello, good Saturday morning, and welcome to Reinvention Saturdays. My name is Benjamin Kamoye. Even as we wait for a few of you to join here, I'm excited about just coming alongside you here today and to add value to you. Right, welcome. For all those of you who are coming on, we're ready here. The next 30 minutes of just adding value to you as we talk about manifesting your genius code. I'd like to share with you some 4 practical, practices to master and manifest your genius code. Welcome for all of you who are coming on. It's a minute in, and I like to just dive in because I know you're here, you're ready for this. Let's get into it. Just for those who are coming in for the very first time, my name is Benjamin Kamoye, and I'm gifted as a creative communicator. I express those gifts as a coach, as a speaker, as a trainer. And my passion in life is really to help individuals reinvent themselves for income and for impact, right? Reinvent yourself for impact and for income. Those two must be in every conversation. And the pathway really requires one to master their brilliance. I am a firm believer that there is brilliance within you, there is genius, there is greatness, whatever word you want to use. That's some special real estate thing that has been deposited in you by the Creator. And your work is really to master it very quickly and manifest it out here into the world and also get paid for it. And so it's about mastering it, manifesting it, and monetizing it. That's my purpose, and that's one of the things I'm very excited about. And the work that I do with corporate organizations and even with individuals, either as coaching, speaking, training, facilitating, thinking partnerships, psychometrics, all that work is really aimed at harnessing that potential within everyone, that brilliance, harnessing it and saying, let's position this, let's bring it out here into the world as a product or as a service that really brings a lot of impact to people. And that's my desire for you, that as we come together every Saturday for the Reinvention Saturdays, you will gain mastery and you will have the confidence to manifest and also to monetize your brilliance. It's about impact and income. And as you've just come on, kindly like and comment with an idea that really hits your mind. If I share something and it just grabs you, hey, don't just pass away, don't just go. What you write, you invite. What you write, you invite. And I want you to just type out whatever it is that comes to you, and let's get this message out there into the world. Diving into it, manifesting your genius code. Last week, I talked about leading from purpose versus safety. And today we are talking about manifesting your genius code. Manifesting your genius code. And just by way of starting here and by way of introduction, when you hear the word genius, who comes into your mind? I want you to give me some names. When you hear the word genius, he is a genius. Those are the geniuses of the 21st century. Those are the geniuses of the 18th century. Those are the geniuses of today. Who comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? And if you're like many people that I have talked to in the last couple of days when I was just preparing for this session, and I asked them, are you a genius? Most of them stood there for a minute and said, no. And that's the question that I have for you. Are you a genius? Are you a genius? You have an answer. Are you a genius? It's either yes or no. And for most people that I asked this question, they said, no, I'm not genius. And then I said, who is genius? And they said genius is people like the founder of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, the founder of Microsoft, Bill Gates, the guy who learned how to throw a javelin without ever being trained. He did the whole thing on YouTube, Julius Diego. And people have different names. And I know you have your own names of who genius is. And I want to ask you, why didn't you put your name there? Why did you exclude yourself from that list? Why wasn't your name the first one on that list? Are you not genius? Because this idea of manifesting your genius code requires this knowing and awareness that I am genius, that you are genius. It has to be witnessed within you that you are genius even before we can talk about this idea of manifesting genius. Because how can you manifest something that you know you are not? It's going to be, this entire next 25 minutes is going to be useless for you. And so the first thing is really, I want you to tap into this idea that you are genius. And if you're writing notes, I want you to go to the head of that list and write your name. Number one, who is genius? Benjamin Kamoye. And I know that might be an idea that you're going to probably struggle with for some time, but I just want you to hold it for the next 30 minutes that you're genius. And I'm going to prove to you why you are genius. You see, when I asked people who is genius and what is genius, a lot of people talk to me about extraordinary abilities and capacities to create something that has never existed. You know, it referred to these people who've got a beyond normal brain, a beyond normal capacity, skills that, are, delivering the unimaginable. It was so much that everybody who I spoke to talked to me that you are either born a genius or you are not. And so if you're not, you just look for the geniuses and follow them. It's like you open that file, it's like, but genius or not genius, sorry. And I understand that. I get that. Because a lot of what we've seen as a manifestation of genius had something to do with the fact that genius is born and being genius is not made. But today I want to impress it upon you that genius is made. Genius is made. The conversation has been there for years. If you go back into history, the conversation has been there. Is it nature or nurture? But there is a lot of evidence that there are more geniuses who were nurtured than there are geniuses who came by nature. Yes, everyone has got a bias for something. There are people who, when they're 3-4 years old and they begin to place their fingers on a piano, music begins to flow. There's something unique that they have. They have an aptitude for it. I get it. I get it that there are people who, when they look at mathematics on the wall, they begin to draw it. And very quickly, we say, whoa, we found a genius. There they are. And if you think about it, we love to fantasize this idea because genius and identifying genius is a very good excuse for our shortcomings. When you say, I'm not a genius. Those are the geniuses. What did you expect from me? I'm not a genius. And it's like to say, hey, stop calling and expecting from me the unimaginable, the beyond. Stop expecting so much from me. I'm an average Joe. I'm an average Jane. Don't expect so much from me. And genius has become an excuse for our shortcomings. But today I want us to refute that idea. Because if you think about genius, and you're looking at genius versus talent, a person of talent hits a target that no one else can hit. That's a person of talent. A person of genius hits a target that no one else can see. A person of talent hits a target that no one else can hit. They've got mastery. They can hit that target. A person of genius hits a target that no one else can see. Now, wait a minute. I'm not trying to say genius is special here. I'm trying to say talent is one of the doorways into genius. Go with me on this idea. A person of talent deals skillfully with the immediately evident world. A person of talent deals skillfully with the immediately relevant world, the things that we can touch and see. A person of genius sees what is hidden from the rest of us. In his book, Beyond Genius, Craig Wright is really trying to expound this idea of genius and talent. And we're so well versed with talent, and we're not as well versed with genius. But again, I say, genius is a good excuse for us, for our shortcomings, for our mediocrity. I'm not genius. Don't expect so much from me. But what if you actually are genius? What if you actually are genius? You just never embraced it. Let's look at the definition of what a genius is. Craig Wright, done a lot of research and studied genius, defines genius as a person of extraordinary mental powers whose original works or insights change society in some significant way for good or ill, across cultures and across time. A genius is a person of extraordinary mental powers. Okay, let's stop it there. Let's look at the Webster's dictionary. A genius is a person with exceptional intellectual or creative power or another natural ability. A person with exceptional. Now, are you exceptional? Are you exceptional? Is there brilliance within you? Has something been deposited within you? Definitely yes, I do believe it. Is it exceptional? That's your choice. I absolutely believe that there is no limitation. There is no limitation to the giftedness that is within you. The only limitation is when you become the limiting factor. I say that again. There is no limitation to the giftedness that is within you, to the brilliance that is within you. The only limitation is when you become the limiting factor. And one of the ways that we all limit ourselves is when we exclude ourselves from the list of genius. And that way, we never ever even get close to those doors where genius kind of manifestations exist, where genius kind of results are evidenced in life. So what's the case I'm making here 10 minutes into this video? And it's that you are genius. Believe it, my friend, you are genius. You are genius. You are genius. All the definitions that we've seen here have got nothing out of the ordinary. All the words that have been used here is exceptional, intellectual, extraordinary, original. That's all that has been used. That's all that's defining genius. And I know you are all these things, which brings me to the point that genius is more nature than nurture. So you've got a shot. You've got a shot. You've got a shot. And you just need to take the shot. For those of you who are just joining us, we're talking about manifesting the genius code within you. And one of the things we've uncovered here is that there is a code of genius within you. There is a giftedness. And all you need to do is you need to sharpen that and you need to bring that onto the world stage. And once it's exceptional, boom, guess what? It's genius. We started off by kind of asking who are the people that come into your mind when the word genius is mentioned. And mostly you will find it's people who came up with inventions, people who, revolutionized the world. When you think about Apple, when you think about Thomas Edison, when you think about Albert Einstein, when you think about the guys who created Uber, Google, YouTube, Facebook, whatever that is, outside here. Those are the people that we think about as genius. Because they created something that was like, wow, that is so needed. There was a creativity that they deployed. They just had a brilliance within them. And what they did is they stayed longer with that idea. Like, comment, and share for those of you who are just joining. Let's continue this idea. If you go with this idea that there is a genius within you, it means that there is a zone. There is a zone in which when you stand, you are closest to genius. You are closest to genius. When you step into your giftedness, your brilliance, to a certain extent, as you move closer, as you go deeper in that zone, you step into a zone of genius. A zone where there is flow. Now, for us to really manifest genius, the first practice is you've got to find your zone. You have to find your zone. You have to find your zone. And if I may ask you, the simplest question is this. When are you happiest? When are you happiest? And from what the research I have done has shown, we are most happiest when we are giving, when we are giving, when we are solving, when we are creating. Our energy is renewed and the flow is endless when we are creating, when we are in our strength zone, when we are offering assistance, support, when we are in that zone. That's where we have the greatest flow. And in that zone, you probably might be standing on the periphery of genius. And if you go deeper in that zone, you will find your zone of genius. And you are definitely qualified to be at the top of that list among the other geniuses. Find your zone. And in the last couple of sessions that I talked about how to turn your skills into expertise. And take that video. You'll be able to see how to do that. There's a link that's going to be dropped by one of my team members into the comments below. Take that and really go and find out, how do I find my zone of genius? How do I turn my skills into expertise? What am I good at? Find that zone. That's the first big thing. Because notice this, if you think about zones of genius, there is what you would call the zone of incompetence. The zone of incompetence. This is the thing you struggle at doing. You don't know how to do it. It's just difficult. It's the thing that you can't wrap your head around. You don't know how to do it. I'm imagining probably, like, for me, the zone of incompetence is when I open the hood of my car and I look at all those cables and all those wires. That's the zone of incompetence. I've got no clue how to do that. Excel sheet, doing my financials and my tax and all that kind of stuff, the numbers and what have you and the percentages. That's a zone of incompetence for me. I am most stressed when I go into that zone. That's the lowest zone. The zone next to that is the zone of competence. I know how to do this. I have learned, I've got the skill, I'm able to do it. Yeah, I know how to get it done. That's the zone of competence. Design for me is a zone of competence. It's a skill I have. I open my machine, I look at Illustrator, Corel Draw, different design softwares, editing videos. Creativity comes to me easy. It's a zone of competence. I know how to work on certain softwares. But there's probably nothing big that comes out of me in that space. I just know how to solve a problem in that space. The next zone is the zone of excellence. The zone of excellence. In other words, I've now moved from competence and I've honed my skills so well such that every time I stand up to do it, my energies are directed in that space, and I do it with very much ease, so much ease, very little effort. I get it done and I get very high results. That's the zone of excellence. And by the way, if you push beyond that zone, you tap into the zone of genius. So what is genius? Genius is this ability to create exceptional, extraordinary. That's what genius is. Every time we define it, that's what it's all about. And so manifesting your genius code requires you to move from the incompetence to the competence to the excellence, and don't be settling for the excellence. You've heard the quote that good is the enemy of best. Good is the enemy of best. And so while everybody's celebrating your excellence, like, whoa, man, you're the guy, you're the girl, you smashed this is really great. Keep moving, keep pushing that boundary, and you will go into the zone of genius. And it's there that you create exceptional, you create extraordinary, and people begin to say, wow, that is genius, because you moved into the zone. Creativity creates. You see, we've been created by a creative God to create. We've been created by a creative God to create. And the zone where you have got the chances of being ingenious is in the zone of your creativity. That's when you spend hours. Time flies by. Hours feel like minutes when you are in that zone. Creativity creates. And the question is not, are you creative? The question is, how are you creative? What's your creativity language? Because there are different languages. There are different languages when it comes to creativity. One of the courses that I teach, which is your innovation thinking styles, and we do this in organizations to help them spark innovation. Normally we start by saying all of us are creative. We just need to find your language. And there are 4 languages. There's visioning, there's modifying, there's experimenting, and exploring. Those are the 4 innovation languages, and everyone has got a specific language that they speak. You just need to know the zone and continue to push beyond excellence. You see, the problem is we're celebrated too early for delivering so little. We're celebrated too early for delivering so little. You see how we're being given medals for participation, certificates for participation. You just participated. How good you are is not in the conversation. Just for participating, there is a medal. For coming in last, there is a medal. We're celebrated too soon for so little. And so we never get into the habit of pushing beyond because we're already getting affirmation, cheap affirmation. We're getting it so soon. And so for us to manifest the genius code, big summary here, you are genius. 2, there is a zone. Find your zone. 3, creativity creates. Creativity creates. And so when you think about moving to your zone of genius, practice number 2, move to your zone. Practice number 1 was find your zone. Practice number 2, move to your zone. And moving to your zone really is about where are you? What do you do daily from 8 to 5? Is it in your zone of genius? Have you found people who are so gifted in music, but during the day they are flipping burgers? During the day they are turning fries up and down. Now I understand the dynamics of paying bills. I get that. I had to do some work at the onset in my life that really didn't rhyme with where I was. But I fought to move in the direction of genius. I fought to come into this space of coaching, speaking, training. I moved myself in that environment. I created a pathway of how do I move from where I am to where I need to go. And that is what I desire for you. How can I help you? Send me an email, reinvention@kamoye.com. Reinvention@kamoye.com. I'm doing this because it pains me to see gifted people, brilliant people, genius suffering, genius broke. Genius not able to live out their dreams. Genius dying with their greatness. It pains me. It breaks my heart. And so Reinvention Saturdays is about how can I help you master it? How can I help you manifest it? That's why I'm here. This is my work order. Use me. We've talked about find your zone and then 2, move to your zone. This is the thing I like about moving to your zone. If you begin to take that first step, the next steps will become available to you. You just need to know, how do I take the first step? And taking the first step has got nothing to do with you knowing what the 10th step is all about. Taking the first step has got everything to do with courage. Just being courageous and saying, I'm going to pursue this. I'm going to go in the direction of the pulling, of the longing that is within my heart to be, do, have more. We're talking about manifesting your genius code. Manifesting your genius code. Let's talk about the 3rd behavior. Once you move in that direction of the zone of genius, once you move in that zone and you're in that space, plant yourself in an environment of growth. Plant yourself in an environment of growth. In the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, John Maxwell talks about the law of environment. The law of environment. And that law says that growth thrives in conducive surroundings. Growth thrives in conducive environments and surroundings. There are spaces that you go to that kill that which is within you. You see, this idea of this seed of greatness, as we call it, that seed of greatness requires an environment. That genius code requires an environment. And there are spaces you go to that kill that genius. And there are places that you go to that cause it to thrive. I gave an example recently in a session that I did, and I talked about how we moved into this house where I've got this big studio and I'm building up what we're doing, the work that we're doing to raise leaders in corporates and also in all of Africa. And one of the things we found these creepers on the walls, these things that you plant and they just hang onto the wall. And I noticed how that plant was committed to enveloping the entire house. My goodness. I mean, it just creeps with these small roots and anchors itself onto the wall. And it's forever climbing and it's forever going and it's just going. What happens when you throw seeds out there? Whether they are weeds or whatever they are, those things, they got no other instruction but to grow. They have no other instruction. They don't know anything else. All they need is an environment. Boom, they start growing. Trees, do you see how far they're going up? They don't know anything else. They just know how to go up and to create more leaves. We're created in the same way. There's a command within us to manifest our brilliance. And like I said in the beginning, there is no limitation. There is no limitation to your greatness apart from when you become the limiting factor through your thought patterns, through your beliefs. And so putting yourself in an environment of growth is very important. Here are the seven indicators of a growth environment. John Maxwell talks about this. A growth environment is an environment where others are ahead of you. That thing you aspire to do, there's someone who's getting results you're not getting. And that's why this year, I said, I want to be in an environment of growth. And I went into a mastermind, and in February, I traveled to Florida. I said, COVID or not COVID, I'm going to travel. I'm going to be in that space. I'm going to meet with mentors. I'm going to sit at the feet of people who are getting results that I want to get, but I'm not yet getting. Others are ahead of me. They've walked the path I want to take. That's a growth environment. The second one, you're constantly challenged. On a weekly basis, we are meeting. They're looking at my thought patterns. They're blowing me. I'm meeting with a coach on a week-by-week basis. Where are you? What are you doing? How far are you going? What are you thinking about? I'm constantly being challenged. That's the second thing about a growth environment. The third one, a place where your focus is totally forward. A place where your focus is totally forward. What do I want to create? What do I want to bring forth into the world? That's the thing. That's the thing. Hold the image. Keep your eye on the ball. That's the third. The fourth one, the atmosphere is affirming. Encouragement is going on. People are cheering you on. Yes, you're going to make it. I've got people around me. I've got 10, 13, 14 people. I'm meeting with them on WhatsApp and we're talking. They're saying, hey, Benjamin, we love what you're doing. I'm checking in with them. I'm giving them progress updates. And people are affirming me. They're cheering me on. That's the environment that my genius needs to manifest all that is within it. Number 5. I wake up excited, an environment where I'm excited to go into. When I think about our meetups with these guys, I'm like, whoa, yes. When I think about what I do every day, waking up this Saturday morning to do this Reinvention Saturday, oh yes, I want to do it again and again and again. I'm excited. Number 6, failure is not my enemy. That's a growth environment. A place where I can try this, I can try an idea. I'm in a lab, I'm experimenting. Hey, yeah, if I fail, it's an opportunity to me to know, doesn't work that way. Let me try this one. Oh, it doesn't work that way either. Let me try this. Oh, it doesn't work that way. And so failure is not an enemy. You're invited, you're challenged. That's a growth environment. And that is what your growth, that's what your genius code requires. Number 7, the final one, others are growing. You're not the only one growing. Others are growing and they're challenging you and they're, wow, I see how he's doing. Whoa, I see he's doing that. And I've got people in my mastermind. They're building leaders. They're shaping leaders. They're every other day of the week, they're sharing content. And when I think of them, I'm like, whoa, thereupon one of my friends out in Greece, I think about him and I was like, whoa, yeah, Jan, Mike. I mean, I could give you the names. Vinod. These are amazing people. Christine, Nuala, they inspire me. They inspire me. They really inspire me. And when I think about them, I'm like, whoa, let's go. Sharika, Ariel. Yeah, these are my newfound friends. We're in a growth environment and we're growing and we're learning and we're developing together. That's a growth environment. So the first big idea, find your zone. We talked about the zone of incompetence, the zone of competence, the zone of excellence. Most of us stop there. If we ever get there, most of us stop at excellence. Go deeper. You'll find the zone of genius. Find your zone. The second one, move to your zone. Move to your zone. What is the industry? You want to be a legal genius? Go to that zone. You want to be, governance specialist, expert? Go in that zone. You want to help us get to space? Go in that zone. You want to redefine the next stage of air travel? Go in that zone. You want to help us, move, from one point to the other without using fuel like oil? Go in that zone. What do you want? You want to help raise leaders? Move in that zone. You want to be a coach, speaker, trainer? You want to change the world? You want to shift patterns? Go in that zone. Go there. Go there. It doesn't matter whether you're flipping burgers today, or you're ironing, or you're mechanic, or you wash houses, or it doesn't matter what you do. Just go in that zone. Go in that zone and stay there. And once you're in that zone, plant yourself in an environment of growth. And I've talked to you about the seven indicators of an environment of growth. The fourth one and the most important one is, once you've done those three, the fourth one, don't miss this one. This is the most important. Place a demand on your genius. Place a demand on your genius. And placing a demand on your genius requires you to begin to tap into, what is this vision of the future that I see? What are these possibilities of the future that I sense? What do I see could be possible? Facebook was created on a certain idea of a possible future, of a certain reality. Google was created on that same idea. Uber was created on an idea about transportation and making it easy for people to find transport. Airbnb was created on some future idea, and boom. In service of the vision, we always place a demand on our genius. As you sit in your mind, waking up at 4 a.m. wondering, how do I create something that hasn't existed before? How do I solve this problem? Creativity creates. We've been created by a creative God to create. And He is conspiring for our highest good. And whenever we're sitting and saying, I want to make this happen in the world, I want to change this about the way we live life as human beings, in that zone, answers will be presented to you, and as you take action, boom, guess what the rest of us are going to call you? A genius. So genius is not about nature, it's about nurture. It's more hard work. It's more hard work. It's more smart work. It's more getting into it than a natural inclination of you're either born with it or not. Genius is more hard work. And so the invitation here today, as we talk about manifesting your genius code, is to realize that you're a genius. You already are a genius. There is a code of greatness within you. There's a gift placed within you by the Creator. If it is not the way for you, I want to meet you, because you're the most unique person. I have never met someone like you. I mean, you're so special. God would deny you abilities and He would send you into this world empty. You're so unique that is His best way of working with you. I want to meet you. If you're that unique, you've got nothing, I want to meet you. I've not met anyone who doesn't have anything. And so this knowing that there is genius already within me is very important. There's already a genius code within me. And you identifying it and saying, what's my zone? What's my zone? And begin to move towards that zone. And that zone is found beyond excellence. And you've got to fight to go further. And the only way to place a demand on it, is to create a vision and to gravitate in the direction and an environment where it is nurtured to grow and to manifest. Again, if you really want to have help, if you really want to get help in mastering that genius within you, if you want to find help in mastering that genius, finding your zone, reach out to me. Send an email, reinvention@kamoya.com. One of my team members is going to pick it up and we'll start a conversation with you. It has been awesome. Thank you for your time today. I celebrate the genius in you. And before you leave, like, share, and comment. Let the world know. Let the world know what you got here today. Thank you so much for your time. Blessings, be well, and bye for now.